We want everybody who's black to win. But at the end of the day, if you're not playing that role to see that black business in through the finish line, then you're literally just a spectator.
Hey family, welcome to the Do You Know Black Kickback, the official after party to the game show, Do You Know Black. I'm your host, Lamont Carolina. I'm here with our guests, contestants from the show, and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna take one of the questions from the show, break it down, and have a thought-provoking conversation around that. Before we jump into our conversation, let's take a look at how our guests did on their episode.
I woke up this morning and chose violence. I'm not gonna play around. I swear to God.
Too many seconds. I'm trying to unlock these prizes.
Right.
I hear you, but I was thinking too.
This is gonna be my villain origin story, but
She's a strong link, and I'm trying to win.
Come on! What? Come on! What?
Tyler, what, like you came out blazing, like what was up?
Yeah, Lamont. I mean, I don't want to say, yo, for real, bro. Like I don't want to come in and say I was on fire from the start and I was ready to like no. We've been dealing with each other for like the past like 48 hours completely.
Straight.
And, you know, like we've been doing like a lot of recording, and then not only was I able to be blessed with the opportunity to be a contestant on the show, I was also catering for the entire recording this weekend.
Let's make some noise. Let's make some noise.
Yeah, thank you guys. City Boy Catering Company, holla at me, you know. What it is right now is like, I was off zero sleep. You get what I'm saying? Like we're literally doing a 3-day weekend and I haven't really had at least anything over 4 hours since maybe Tuesday night.
Oh, wow.
And realistically, I came in, I had a horrible last night. You know, we got into a car accident on some craziness. It took me maybe 5.5 hours just to get home, which should have been 9:30. So I literally woke up like, yo, this is the last day of recording. I was like, all right, cool, we about to film this show. Darnell hits me at 7 a.m. He's like, yo, I would love for you to be on the show for today. Mm-hmm. I said, all right, cool. I'm more than willing to jump in because that was the initial game plan when we first started communicating. Okay. So I came through, I'm off zero sleep.
Zero sleep, you on zero sleep?
I literally like chugged an espresso before we started communicating.
I didn't know you could chug those.
I did it. Hot.
Cause aren't they like this big?
Hot. But no, I didn't have one, I had a quad. So it's like
quad.
4 shots. 4 shots of espresso straight
This is
up.
a lot of excuse for throwing smoke. I'm just, go ahead.
No. That's right. Yo, hold up. You ever watch a montage for like John Wick? What's he doing? He's just loading the clip.
He's loading the clip. Okay.
So when I came in, I was just like, yo, you know what? If I'm gonna be on the show, I'm gonna make sure they know that I'm on the show. So I literally came for anybody who was ready. And I was, I came for the smoke and then I rolled up that Nick pack.
I was not ready.
You weren't ready.
Can I respond?
Wait, you were first, right?
I was the first. I was the victim.
Yeah, please.
I mean, I was out here just minding my business. I came out to support. I came out here. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a good time. And you know, I was not ready for that. And you know, I didn't hit his car. I didn't do any of that. I didn't have him up here working. You know, and it felt a little personal. I was like, damn.
It was personal.
Yeah.
So wait, okay, all right, because it's hard when you're voted off first because you didn't get to show all of your potential, right? Let me ask you a question. In the questions that you did answer, did you get them right? Did you get them wrong?
So there was one question I got right, and that's all I wanted. I wanted one question. If I said I could get one question, then I was good. I passed a couple times.
He passed quickly though. This one wanted to take 30 minutes to think about what was said. He wanted like the definitions of the words, like the origin. You know how they do in the spelling bee?
He's like, can you use it in a sentence?
He was like, repeat it again. He was like, did I hear that last week? Like he had a lot of questions.
Bruh, Lamont, let's be real, dog. I'm gonna call Shorty study guide for the rest of the interview while we're sitting here, because as we were all BSing and having a good time, my girl's like right here studying the entire. I'm just like, yo, if she don't win, then there's gonna be a problem somewhere.
Yeah.
My thing is that, mind you, going in, me and him knew each other. So I was like, we didn't have an alliance, but I was just like, yo, at the end of the day, I'm trying to cut all my losses.
That's fair.
Nick fumbled real quick. Regardless of how long I took to ask another question, to get the question, to get an answer, I ain't know it, but.
Fair enough. I'm curious over here.
I was just going based off the answers, right? But then down the line, I should have re-strategized and taken out the winner so I could win, because I was the second best.
Fair.
I was very worried.
And the quiet one.
I'm quiet?
I mean, you haven't said much, so I'm curious. What was this your same kind of aura in the game show? Like let everybody else kill each other and then not jump in?
No.
No?
I was going for heads too.
Ooh.
I was. It was fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Okay. All right, were you nervous? Did you think Tony was gonna outdo you? Was it even close? It wasn't?
I don't think so. I messed up on one
Two.
question. See?
But
Two questions.
be real, it was towards the end
Yes.
that Tony was fumbling, because even if still I was watching, he was like, had like, what, 4 or 5 right before the end?
Yeah.
And there was like 2 questions that he fumbled on.
Yeah.
And finally, because there's one more point that kind of was a crazy one. So you got everything right, and then there was a situation that happened at the end. What was the question?
Who was named MC New York? Like who's
And how long did it take you to answer it?
0.5?
immediately?
So you knew it right away.
But that was all the questions.
Yeah.
Oh, that's-
Every question she
that's
got
my favorite
right.
rapper.
But even
immediately.
that question,
All right.
like, was
Yeah.
you really listening to Digital Underground back then?
All right. You know what? We're gonna take this conversation. Yes. We're gonna take this conversation and we're gonna shift it. All right. So I'm gonna read you one of the questions from the show, and then that's gonna be the basis of our conversation. Okay. In 2017, consumer packaged goods company Unilever acquired what Black-owned beauty company for $1.6 billion?
Tyler got it wrong.
We're not here to throw shade.
You about to roll me up right now, ain't you?
We're not here to throw shade. What's the answer?
Sundial Brands.
There we go. Sundial Brands. All right. I'll give you some context around that. Shea Moisture launched a campaign that had several white models and an ethically ambiguous model. After receiving backlash on social media and being canceled by many of their loyal customers, the company followed up by releasing this following statement, quote unquote. While this company included several different videos showing different ethnicities and hair types to demonstrate the breadth and depth of each individual's hair journey, we must absolutely ensure moving forward that our community is well represented in each one, so that the women who have led this movement never feel that their hair journey is minimized in any way. With that context, what were your thoughts from that ad that aired in 2017?
Well, as a Shea Moisture consumer, prior to 2017, I thought it was for us by us, like FUBU. And then that commercial came about, and I was like, wow, where am I in the commercial? And it was a little upsetting, especially because they were making it seem like their hair, I mean, don't get me wrong, like hair is hard to deal with no matter the texture, apparently. That's what I've heard. I don't know. I got 3C hair. So all I can know is I can speak from my hair type. But I was greatly insulted because I knew of Shea Moisture to be for the 3s and the 4 community, not anything else.
Just for our viewers who don't know, and our guests who may not know what you're referring to in terms of C3,
Right.
4, what?
Okay, so there is a hair chart system that is categorized by 1 through 4. And I think it's growing, and even like now in 2021, it's changed to even how it looked back in 2016 and 2017. So I'm a 3C, 4A sometimes, like depending on where searching my hair. But you'll find women with my texture that will call themselves 3C. So it's actually very much whitewashed now, and very linked to the hair chart system is linked to what I find is colorist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you do that, I just need to get a little bit more clarity on the chart.
On the chart?
So A would be maybe like
So
straight.
A or 1A would be straight, and then like a 4C would be kinky.
And kinky meaning kind of like.
Like you don't really coil, you
It's like thick, curly hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Good. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. And I want to, with the other lady on the panel, I'd love to just kind of get your thoughts as well.
Yeah, for me, prior to that commercial, Shea Moisture had already changed their formula. And a lot of us were trying to figure out whether or not something changed with our hair. But when that commercial came about, it just kind of let us know that they had moved on to bigger audiences. And I'm okay with brands doing bigger and better. I understand it. But there are different ways that you take care of Black hair versus everybody else.
Sure.
Because you have that coil, because you have that curl, oil does not travel down the strand. We don't have to wash our hair every day. The mother folks do. So you cannot have the same shampoo and conditioner, the same mechanisms for both of us. So you cannot say that you can't have a brand for everybody when it comes to hair. You just can't.
I understand. All right. And now remember, this conversation isn't necessarily about Shea Moisture and the ad. This, I think, leads to a greater discussion about Black brands, right? All across the spectrum, right? From technology to consumer products, to goods, to businesses, right? So one of the questions I have, and I think I'll start with you, is there an expectation for Black brands to prioritize Black consumers?
Well, at the end of the day, there's an expectation for consumerism as a whole. And the way I see it is that you have these majorly funded companies that act as umbrellas for certain other companies. And my thing is like, my mom's been in hairstylist for almost over 30 years. So it's like, she was talking this chart, I'm like, I already know where you at. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna jump in and be like, I know everything, but like, you know what I'm saying? But my thing is this, is like when you have to look at it, you have to look at capitalism as a whole and understand that when a company comes in and they can market themselves, it's like, all right, before I even jump into that, the only way that I can reference it is something that speaks my language. We already talked about this, I'm a chef. So if we're gonna reference companies and businesses as a whole, let's dial back to Chipotle in 2007. That was literally owned by 2 white dudes out of, I have no idea where. But in that construct right there, they got bought by McDonald's. You get what I'm saying? So Chipotle came from being like a 2 dudes own trying to create a Tex-Mex type of theme and go with like fresh pressed ingredients and all that to where McDonald's comes in. So now you have an entire company, majorly funded, decades old. And now they're pushing, or more so progressing, an ideal that applies to their business market, their appeal. What I'm doing, if I have 500,000 units in the East Coast, I'm gonna make sure that this company has the same thing because I'm backing them. In that example, Shea Moisturizer, you appeal to who and why? Guess what? Here's 400 million, here's 500 million. Now at this point, it's not gonna be just tailored to the regular consumers that come after this product, it's now tailored to everybody because now it's inclusivity.
All right, and you can be specific, you're saying Black people, from Black people
yeah.
to everybody.
Right, so like if it's a Black-owned company, you need money to keep going, cool, so here you go. But like, I'm not gonna only tailor to your people, but at the end of the day, you wanna get big, but we're gonna get bigger with you.
Okay.
So now everybody's on it.
That's great, that's great. That leads me to my next question. So then what are the benefits of a Black-focused company, Black-owned company focusing on Black consumers?
I do think when you're thinking through how a business is ran, a point of a business is to always gain revenue. That's your ultimate goal, is to get as much money as possible. I do think what they were thinking is getting more money, but the way they deliver it was poor. I think you should have specified what you were targeting. So this is for a certain type of hair. You say there's a chart. I'm not familiar with that chart, but you should be talking about that chart. This is for this type of hair. Then you're not really taking out your main sector. And then they spoke about how they're changing products. Have your products specified for certain hair types. That's the whole point of a hair company.
Yeah.
If you know that everyone's hair is not the same, this is my product for this type of hair. This is my product for this type of hair. I think that was a smart way of doing it. I think their delivery was more to just gain the masses. You think of any business, you think of a music artist. How does a music artist get big? A music artist gets big by they getting by all demographics.
I think it depends on the product. When it comes to hair, we are different. When it comes to skin, we are different. If you're like, think of, I'm in tech, so Calendly or TaskRabbit, those are Black owned. Well, I think to this day, they're still Black owned, but that is something that appeals to the masses. But when it comes to hair, like I think about Shea Moisture. I used to have Shea Moisture all over my house. Now you won't see it. And then a lot of us felt a lot of backlash because, you know, we built up that community. We made that brand able to be able to sell. Now, in their defense, they had more commercials that did appeal to the masses, but you can't serve everybody. Anybody in business will tell you when you first start off, you have to niche down. Amazon started off selling books. When you try to appeal to the masses, you can lose your focus. And in a sense, you are just chasing money. Some people want to do that, some people don't.
If I'm selling a product, I so happen to be Black, but I don't only want Black people to purchase my product. However, if we're honest about how non-Black companies or the mass, like people who make a lot of money, I really don't think that they prioritize their kind. They just market.
They just go make money.
They just go and make money.
All right, Beats by Dre controls some 70% of the headphone market. Thanks to lightning fast marketing and a smart grasp on pop culture, in 6 years, Interscope Records Mongol Jimmy Levine and hip-hop icon Dr. Dre have turned Beats by Dre headphones into a $1 billion plus business. And then Apple purchased Beats by Dre in 2014, and it is what we know today. So that is obviously a black-owned business. It's a co-owned, but it's a black-owned, or was, right, a black-owned business. Ty.
My thing is that I feel that we, as a whole, are looking for quick results, and it comes as not just how marketing and business handles and carries our culture and progresses it forward. It kind of resolves around how we handle our culture, how we progress our culture forward. If you really want to paint that picture, how many Black people are literally buying Black-owned businesses that weren't doing it 5, 6 years ago, 10 years ago? At the end of the day, if you're literally tap dancing on the line of inclusivity, if I can say, look, I want you to win, I want you to win. It's like the same thing. Issa Rae going to the Grammys talking about, I'm just voting, I'm waiting, I'm literally on everybody who's Black to win. And we want that. We want everybody who's Black to win. But at the end of the day, if you're not playing that role to see that Black business in through the finish line, then you're literally just a spectator. And it all results like, look, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a small business owner. My man right here runs a podcast. He's literally a small business owner. It's like, at the end of the day, there's thousands of sneaker podcasts. At the end of the day, there's thousands of Black-owned restaurants. At the end of the day, there's thousands of Black-owned hair care products. But are you putting that money in to see that company move forward?
Okay.
And how connected are you to the end result? Like, everybody has an end game. So it's like, if I'm gonna stick with you to the end of it and be like, yo, it's Shea Moisture all over my crib, I don't care who they got bought out by.
So if a company does that, you ride or die with your company. You're like, it's 2010, and I'm Beats by Dre headphone. I got them. They ain't a big mark. Wait. I got Shea Moisture, all my cabinet, everything. Toothpaste, eye drops, cough syrup, Shea Moisture. Wait, hold on, because I'm painting a picture here. And then that company goes and is bought by Unilever or is purchased by McDonald's. I mean, that's not a great example. But a Black-owned business then goes, quote unquote, mainstream, or, for whatever reason. Are they sellouts?
No.
They're not sellouts.
No.
But they changed their formula.
They're good business
If
people.
they change their they changing your formula is something different.
Yeah, I agree. I think if the product is still something that can be divided by diverse people, then it's good. But at the end of the day, if you're rooting for Black business, if you want Black success, you have to be behind them when they make business moves that will benefit them. If someone's gonna buy something for $800 million and you're the top person, why would I not sell it to you because you're not Black? At the end of the day, we're looking for generational wealth. We don't have that as a community. We're building from the ground up. We need to have generational wealth, and that is by starting to make these hard decisions that maybe everyone's not gonna agree with.
Yep.
But at the end goal, you're building revenue for a community, because that community, you're gonna build it back into your family. If it doesn't go back into your community, it's gonna go directly to the people that are Black. And if
is that always the case though?
It's not always the case, but that is the thought process of it. If you're building up a business, if I'm opening a business, the only reason I'm opening a business is not only because I love to do something, but because I want to make money. And if I'm going to make the most money by selling something, I'm going to sell it. But what she said, the inclusivity of the product, like, you have to continue to really be able to touch your different markets and not forget the market you came from, but make the most money you can.
Okay.
Now, I will say this, capitalism is not gonna save Black people. I don't care how much generational wealth, there are too many systems.
Say it again.
But
Say it again.
Capitalism is not going to save Black people. But I will say that I am all for a business getting to that new bag, that big bag. What the Shea Moisture founder did do is go and buy Essence. So he didn't just sit around and just, collect his bag and move on to the next. However, I no longer have Shea Moisture in my house because I can no longer use the product. But that did, go ahead.
Are you gonna applaud the man that chose the bigger bag to move on? It's like, if I'm gonna get all this money off a business that I built, I'm gonna go and buy the next Black chapter that's gonna even, but not so much increase my revenue, but increase my worth in the community. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I'm all for him doing that. I'm just saying I can no longer be a consumer, not because you sold it, it's because you changed the formula. Do what you do. I don't know what's going on in your household.
So is that a byproduct of the brand moving from Black ownership to white ownership? That's what I'm asking here.
I don't think so.
No?
Because I still have Beats by Dre. I don't care who owns them.
But that's not something that affects your, as you said earlier, you said it depends. You said, for skin, for hair, I gotta use certain products.
Yeah.
You used to be able to use that product. It used to be all up in your cabinet. I'm saying that was bought by that company was sold, right? And the formula was changed or whatever, right? So if a Black-owned business does that, right, they make those decisions, right? Is it because, all right, I'm out to make money, which you said, or is it I want to solve for a problem that Black people people like me face, and they can't get it from products that already are on the market.
I think that's how it always starts out. It always starts out in that way because you are you launching something because you're targeting a demographic that was already not being represented.
Yep.
But once they got to a point where they were making money, then you start thinking through as a business person. You're like, okay, I really do want to continue to support my community, but I also want to make money. I'm also growing my company. I'm hiring more people. We need to make more money. So how do we do that?
It's like identifying your
selling out?
mission. No, but at the end of the day, it's identifying your mission statement. You get what I'm saying? If I'm creating this brand, what is my end game?
Exactly.
Am I here to enrich my community or am I enriching my pockets?
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? You have to look at it as a broad stroke. At the end of the day, Apple still gives Beats by Dre their flowers. Every time a new AirPod is promoted or expunged in any type of audio frequency, it's always referred to. Every single piece of this was also a manufactured piece of Beats by Dre headphones. They give them their flowers because if it wasn't for Beats by Dre, Apple wouldn't have the market into the audience, into the audio world that they have too. I mean, regardless of having an extensive catalog, they wouldn't be able to give you lossless audio or Dolby or anything without having the market that Beats by Dre created first to then have AirPods where you can hang up and call. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at Shea Moisturizer, in the beginning, Jay-Z was referenced as one of the persons that doled millions into it. We all heard about that.
Yep.
You market what you want to feel included in the foundation of which you manage and you put your business upon.
I don't know what you just said. You got to simplify that.
It's weird. It's weird because at the end of the day, it's like, are you selling out? Not necessarily, because if your end game was to achieve this level, then you're doing exactly what you want. And when I talk about inclusivity, it's like we all want somebody to win.
Yeah.
So if I'm going, that's like saying me. You want me to see me win. It was like, yo, I want Ty to have like 6, 7, 8 different restaurants independently owned. That is a crapshoot. Because it's never gonna happen.
So the folks, and I wanna get to you, Fiona. So the folks so you have one person, right, who hypothetical business, they create this business and a product that serves Black people, specifically, whatever it is, serves Black people. Boom, it rises in notoriety because one, Blacks make up a large percentage of the spending power in the US. And two, when we find a product that we use, we know that probably we're not getting service elsewhere. So this one person creates this product that turns out to have millions and millions and millions of users, right? And then another company, a bigger conglomerate, buys that, doesn't care about the vision. What happens to the millions of users?
So I was gonna say it would be unconsciously selling out.
Okay.
Because you have your mission, you have, your audience and who you want to cater to. However, when your business is purchased, like whatever, it's no longer your responsibility, if you get what I mean. But in a way, it kind of is because you've established this business, and you didn't vet properly who was purchasing your.
So you let those people go though. You're like, oh, forget my followers, forget them. I made that money, I cash out.
Right, so that's when it comes off like I'm selling out, but you were only doing what was best for you, and
that's what Tyler's question about what your thought process of the person selling it. You have to think through what did they want at the end of this.
Sure, but did the consumers support your product?
Right.
Because, go brother.
Right, so you start a business because I'm catering towards Black and brown, right? You get to another level where now the white company looking at you like, hey, y'all making money over there. We want to make money. We want to purchase it. Do you stand on what you started off on the bottom, or you be like, I see that bag. I don't really care about the Black and brown community anymore. I want to make my money, and then I'll go on to do something else.
Okay.
I wanted to say that we also are acting like, we know what's going on in these meetings before they sell. Right. I could fully see, oh yeah, we're gonna continue to keep this going. As soon as they get change all this way. Like I can completely see that. Like you said, you gotta do what you gotta do. Anybody who's run a business, like everybody's telling everybody to be an entrepreneur, but it is hard work. So I can see where somebody's like, I'm tired, give me the bag, I'm gonna go live in an island. Right. So I completely respect that. Now, when you sell out, I think you're a sellout when you do stuff like, be a Trump supporter. That's selling out for me. Yeah. If you wanna go sit, that's fine. But when you like on stage at inauguration or in his office.
Just to get that crowd.
That's selling out to me, because now you done sold your soul.
And you point a good point about being an entrepreneur, wanting to run a business. Everybody doesn't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, I think that's a lot of work. And I think in our mindset as a community, we want people to always build, but we all don't want to build. So when people don't when they build and they realize like this is a lot of work, I don't want anything to do with it, they do that. They make the decision move to make more money and again fall back. I can't hate you for that because I know if someone gave me a lot of money, I'll retire tomorrow. I don't like my job that much.
There's an intense amount of sensitivity when it comes to us as a community being the viewer and watching things that, like Lamont said, we expect it to go one way, but then it ends up turning a different way, and we're just like, I'm cashed out, I'm good. And we're at the end of the day, like as a community, we're so quick to wipe our hands and wash our hands of stuff, and it's real. It's really, really real.
So, are there any examples of companies that have done this really well? That is Black-owned brands
And to
that
stay
have crossed
true,
market.
that stay true to their demographic?
Are there examples, good examples, or examples of good, Black-owned businesses, companies, going after that kind of cross-cultural market, and they did it well?
I think Beats by Dre, their commercials are still very Black.
That's a fact. Like Sha'Carri, we had Sha'Carri as a Black community. We saw Sha'Carri. Sorry about that. But she was someone that the Black community wouldn't stand behind, and they realized that she was not going to the Olympics. Everybody was the number one thing people were going to say. She's going to lose her sponsorship. She lost all her money. Beats did the right thing. They gave her that commercial that blew up because they realized that they had a prominent Black woman that has potential, that made a mistake that everyone does, and that they were gonna stand behind her. And I think that's a good company move.
I think, and Tamika, I want you to answer this one here. Like, I wanna be very clear. Commercials are a small part of a business's function, okay? Commercials are only what you see. That has nothing to do with their bottom line. That has nothing to do with where they spend money. That has nothing to do on who they hire. What do you say to that?
Because I work in tech, and it's a lot of, showcasing, or I forgot the word for it, but just, we're all about parading Black people in commercials and on the brochures, but we are not hiring Black people. And I love the fact I just started with working for a company that is headquartered in New York, and they're very small. And the CEO was like, yeah, we're not doing any of that parading. Like,
Performative.
yeah, performative. That's the word. The CEO that I work for, he said that he would not put up a Black square on social media. What he said to everyone is, if you want to go march for Black Lives Matter, cool, go do that. But here's my number, my personal number. Here's also the other numbers of the C-level people. And if you get in trouble, here's legal's number. And you have full right to use all our legal services if you get in trouble.
Wow.
That is better than doing anything else.
Wow. This is a great conversation, one that could go on for hours. But we gotta wrap up here. So I wanna thank our guests for being just such dynamic individuals. My name is Lamont Carolina, and this has been the Do You Know Black Kickback. We'll see you next time.